doesn't fit into her usual definition of beauty, just like women and men often don't. And we don't want to get confused with the packaging. A woman could be very heavy and still beautiful. Someone comes to mind, I won't mention her name at the moment. So to not let the packaging confuse us, with men either. I used to think I had to be a man. Hi, John. I am in control of this show, and I know stuff. And it was so nice to give that up and just be with my spaciousness, what some people might call emptiness, but it's really spacious. And in space, there's stars, 1,800 suns born every second. Wow! We have that in us. So that might be much more important than the packaging of a person, what they're really like. And maybe everybody has that. I'm sure everybody has that spaciousness, if they would have the courage to embrace it and not be, as I often am, scared of the nothingness.
The nothingness?
Yeah, but it could feel like, oh, I'm just down deep, made of nothing. It was an old song before your time. I've got plenty of nothing. Nothing's plenty for me.
Question. Do you remember an exact moment or span of time where you let go of that sort of need to be man facade and found, you said it felt really good just letting go of that stereotype?
Oh, was that good? Unfortunately, what comes to mind is meeting a doctor in my building, lovely woman. Hi there. And another woman I really was infatuated with. Hi, I'm Michael. I know stuff. I can be witty. And that was all covering. Gee, I'm feeling spacious, or in my worst moments, nothing. And finally, when one woman kind of didn't want to have anything to do with me anymore, I realized that, I think the words were, she says, you say those compliments to everyone. And I said, you'll get to know me and see that they're true coming from me. And that was the end. She never wanted to talk to me again. And that helped me see that I didn't have to parade and be a man in control with my witty stories. So I let that go because it didn't work with her. Thank you so much. I don't even think I can remember her name. But thank you so much.
Beautiful. Okay. Well, I'd first I think I found the paragraph that we ended the story on, and I'd first like to read the entire thing before we react on it.
Do you want to, that I will do, do you want to, maybe we summed up what was happening so far.
I think so.
Yeah, right, okay.
And they sort of went through dangerous terrain with buckets of rain.
Yes.
She got out of the car, and he said, no, I'm going to keep on driving.
Yes.
She got on the car and off the car and on the car, and then they finally, they steered around a bend, and there was no rain. And they sort of went out and saw this epic canyon and this epic sort of rain scene
Yeah.
exploding skies and all that. So they're just basically getting moved by what they see in nature now.
And typical, the woman was scared, and the man said, "We can do it."
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll read a whole paragraph, and I will be quiet.
Okay. Not always true with all people. We'd come to the rim at the very edge of time. Tired as we were, if we'd come even a half hour earlier, we would not have stayed long enough to see the sky explode. If we'd come only a minute later, we would not have seen the unearthly light. Because we were there at that precise second, I could not doubt that we had been led most carefully through a conjunction of simple events to a moment of vision that would have been impossible to imagine.
Wow!
Isn't that epic?
So what do you make of this?
I mean, yeah, sometimes you get those moments where, I was just, story. So my blinds just broke. They recently fixed it, but my blinds from my bedroom just broke. So it was at this tilt. I was lying down, and I was just sort of angry about my blinds, and then I woke up and I got to see the sunrise, and it was one of those sunrises where just the clouds are pink. There's a blanket of clouds, and it's all pink, and otherwise, if I would have woken up and my blinds hadn't broken, I wouldn't have seen it because they would have been closed.
Oh my, very nice.
And so yeah.
So there might be energies in us, moving us to meet, even moving blinds to break, in order for us to experience the world in a different way. A fancy word for this is synchronicity.
Synchronicity.
Meaning there are energies that are going on and attracting each other. It was coined by the psychologist Jung when he read from the newspaper in Switzerland that someone on a subway in about the third car had a huge impulse to pull the emergency brake. And he pulled it. The train came to a halt, and he discovered someone had fallen in front of the train, and their life was saved.
Wow.
Because he pulled the emergency brake, and he didn't even know why.
Wow.
And one other, his clients might have dreams of butterflies. Did. And these rare butterflies came to the window where he was doing the therapy. So he thought, which I think for sure, there's energies that move things to happen, like seeing the sunrise through the broken blinds. So you could have broken those blinds, but they're not going to charge you because they're not going to see this show till it's too late.
Oh no! Charge my spiritual energy. We're gonna have spiritual energy tax or whatever.
We won't tell. They're not going to see this.
No, we're not gonna record this
No.
one. No, I don't want to mess with spiritual energy. I was thinking recently, another story. Recently, I'll have, throughout the day, I'll have a constant conversation in my mind, basically with myself, but who knows? Maybe it's a spiritual power. Just talking about trying to define things and set things in proper categories and stuff like that. And
an example would be?
Walk into Central Square, I think, what card in the deck should I be now? I want to be stable. I want to be, smart and charismatic, or I want to be peaceful and nobody noticed me or something like that. But Monday I was at work, and practicing active listening when I was hearing another one of my coworkers talking. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to try not thinking of anything, just silent mind practice. And I listened to that, and I had relaxation throughout the rest of the day that I'm not used to. So I don't know if that's the same as your story, but in mine, it's another way of well, in yours, someone had an instinct to save someone. They didn't know what was going on. In mine, my constant need to try to define things was giving me, stress and fears. I don't know. That's just what I thought of when I was hearing.
Very nice.
So shall we continue?
Yes.
Okay. As night fell, I remembered a sad tale my friend Steve had told me. When he was at Canyon de Chelly, where they are now, he'd intended all day to leave a ring behind, and in the last minutes he'd forgotten, and the omission had tortured him for months.
Wow.
Yeah. So I took the snake ring I loved, which Diana had given me, and I gave it to the canyon for all of us.
Wow. Very nice.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever done, I don't think anything like that. What about yourself?
I was just thinking of clothes for a second. I was thinking of ring, some sort of spiritual connection to the ring, and I was just thinking, what happens when you wear that really nice shirt that you really love? Your entire day, feels better.
Oh, even like that, yes.
Yeah, and just simple things like proper pair of shoes can make your life better, And I wonder if that's a spiritual thing as well.
I remember going home before going to Israel and having a lot of coins in my pocket and taking them all out and putting them on the Port Authority table. And I just had the ticket to get to my parents' home in New Jersey.
Wow.
And it did feel very free to have no money.
Wow.
I mean, that was a little safe because I was visiting, I was going to stay with my parents, so they would feed me and house me. But even then it felt very free from the gravity of money.
Mm-hmm. Recently, my computer has been acting funny. And it's every other day, literally exactly every other day, all of my applications and data, practically everything is wiped, and it's just a fresh computer. And the first day that happened, it was funny because everything was wiped. I brought it to the shop, and then everything was there. So I brought it back, and I just thought, maybe just to have a not much computer time day. And it felt amazing. I took a walk, and I remembered my mom, and just wonderful times when I was a kid, and I just sat down and didn't have anything to do, but I wasn't on the computer as I would have been if it was working properly, and I just felt absolutely peaceful having nothing to do, just sitting there.
Now, it could be with diseases.
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend who just irritated me. I told her I just had 2 small strokes. And she said, it comes from being afraid. And I didn't tell her, but I didn't like it.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I didn't like it, especially the surety she had. Not maybe, but that's what it comes from.
Yeah.
Although I do believe my illnesses are gifts. They reveal, I had skin cancer because I didn't touch people too well. I was too needy. Touch me, touch me, touch me. I had sinus cancer because I didn't think too well. So I think it can help to ask, as my friend Michelle Scow told me, a wellness nurse, why is this happening for me? So I could ask, I'm not sure I have the answers, why 2 strokes at the age of 82 and a half? What is it teaching me? Because I'm very happy. I'm kind of very high with these strokes. I don't, it's as if I've had a lobotomy from some of my worries. 'Cause maybe. Feels like I've had a craft cocktail. So I don't know. It might be. Abby Hoffman said, "Death is the best trip of all. That's why it's saved for last." So I might be. I don't know. But it's helpful to ask. Okay, onward.
Yeah. The next day, we rose at dawn to see the sunrise and went down to the canyon. When we arrived at the edge, we were greeted by 2 goats who nuzzled us affectionately, their bells breaking the silence. We fed them crackers that we'd intended to eat but had forgotten about. Ordinary as the moment was, it had a miraculous quality, as if the goats were there to invite us out of ourselves back into the natural world.
Wow, isn't that nice?
Yeah, that's a good perspective.
I don't know if I've ever had. What springs to mind, I'm not sure this counts. I worked at a farm on the kibbutz in Israel, and I was in charge of bringing the cows home.
Oh, okay.
And they were in a muddy place, and they didn't listen to me. I was trying to get them to come. And after a while, the man in charge of them, who looked a little like a cow, squat and heavy, all he had to do was move a finger, and they all came in. So this might have been the opposite. The animals were, in a kind way, wanting me to get in touch. I was too wrapped up in, you follow what I'm saying, and not enough in, let me feel what it's like to be a cow.
Fascinating.
Let me just tune into that. So I didn't know how to do that then.
Do you now?
This is an indirect answer. I hug my oak tree often when I do yoga, anytime I'm out there. And that is so healing. Because an oak is like this big. And I put my head next to it and my back. So I think I'm beginning to appreciate, I call him Oki. And if I touch him before I respect him, you know, the energy around him, that might call it spirit, it doesn't feel right. I have to say, hi, Oki, and then hug, and kiss even. And I do exercises around it so the neighbors won't think I'm too crazy.
Yeah, it's a part in the story I just mentioned at the beginning of the show of the Cherokee boy. His grandmother tells him a story of when people were coming to make the forests into a town, and they were going to cut down the trees, and the entire and to stop that, they came and they dismantled their operation every night, and the message of the story is that even trees have, definitely trees have a spirit.
Yes, for sure. I mean, scientists might call it the energy field, but I think it's the same. And scientists might have trouble thinking it's an aware field, but it feels very aware to me. If I hug it, it can respond, or I can feel it from afar before touching it.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that recently. Just the thought of all these, all the spirit in this natural world that, that's, I think that's why it's good to keep national forests and parks alive, because I feel like there was this understanding far before technology came to take down certain parts of nature. There was an understanding of who we were then as humans and the natural world, and I feel like it's important to keep that energy alive now that I've been thinking about that kind of stuff.
Love it.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, next paragraph.
Is there an example of you doing that?
Of me doing that?
Yes.
That's a good point. I give to charities at the beginning of every year, the first day. So I want to give to the world, the WWF, blanking on the name of it now, that helps nature and animals and extinct animals. Animals that are becoming extinct. There's a new charity I learned of called the Southwestern, it's Southwestern, blanking so much tonight, but it's a reservation, where Native American peoples live, and then reading this story, and then thinking of them, and my friend Mike is Native American. He gave me a dream charm once, and I have that hanging on my wall, and just kind of trying to connect with those people, and reading this story, and talking to you on TV about all this, it just really opens my awareness of the actual life of the natural world.
Great.
Yeah. Okay. Michael and I spent the day in solitude, together but not speaking. And as we walked into the prima materia, I don't know if I spelled that correctly.
That means primal matter.
I like it. Of the shallow, warm river, a chant came to me with the rhythm of my steps.
Wow.
Maybe the Native Americans in the natural world are speaking to her from her dream. In the dark, red body of the mother at last. In the quiet body of the canyon, something in me opened, something I'd been taught to keep closed, so that learning to open it was a great mystery. Michael spoke to me of his...
I guess she's opening... It's easy to say this in words. Opening to connect to nature, in the dark red body of the mother at last. And connecting to our mothers too, but Mother Earth. I don't know... The one event that comes to mind is when I worked on a farm. I'd get up early and run to a lake about a mile away. No one was there. It was cold. And I'd strip my clothes. It's known in the Hebrew tradition as mikvah, and purify myself by going into this cold, but not too cold water, and coming out, drying myself, and running back about a mile, and be ready for breakfast and the work of the day.
Wow.
So I think when I did this, I was way aware of purifying me. and not yet aware. I was using nature to help me, but she's more into nature as the dark red belly of the mother, if that makes any sense.
Could you explain that more?
I was wounded. I think I might have masturbated in the morning and wanting to purify myself. And so I was thinking of the water helping me, but not me getting in touch with the water. It was almost as if the water was a tool that was going to help me feel pure. But I wasn't yet ready to really be grateful to the water in itself and feel part of the lake the way she is. I don't know if that makes sense either. It was like the lake was supporting cast. It was there to help me. I wasn't joining it as we're equals. Hi, lake. I think it was just help me, lake. Help me. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Okay, so it was sort of more for you and less of for the earth.
Yes, all for me.
Mm-hmm.
I would treat women the same way. Thank you for being there to help heal me.
All right. Michael spoke to me of his sense of revelation. He felt this beauty we were experiencing, insisted that we devote his life to protecting the planet, to being her advocate. He said he would ask himself the question each day, how shall I live my life to accord with such beauty?
Wow. Quite a guy, Michael.
Yeah.
No wonder she likes him.
It's getting a little steamy over here. I'm going to take off my...
Yeah, I took off mine.
Okay.
Yeah, I love the beauty. That would be a next step I have not taken.
Yeah. And do you agree with seeing the earth as a woman or a female being or spirit?
I don't know.
Okay.
What about you?
Yes.
Wow.
I'm not going to go into details, but I had a spiritual experience once where I first wept for my mother and I second wept for Mother Earth.
Well,
And the tears were non-stop for maybe, I'd estimate maybe 30 minutes.
mm-hmm.
And there's just a pile of tears on the ground. And I just thought about, the Mother Earth being hurt by war, basically. And it was one of the most profound moments in my life. And it also helped me be aware and confirmed my understanding that I did care for the earth, and good intentions.
Very nice.
Yeah. Okay. With attention, I answered too quickly. With attention, I answered too quickly. Attention, mindfulness, awareness. The words hardly serve to describe the task of willingness to see. The willingness to see. Willingness to see. When I was meditating at the end of the day, a teaching came to me from the astonishing peace, the peace that passeth understanding, which was the gift of the canyon floor at the warm primal red river of clay. where I had immersed my feet. This beauty comes out of great love. This beauty comes out of great heart. Of a great heart. Stories of the Heart. I understood the first time that love is the very nature of beauty. Skill, technology, aesthetics, or mind was not sufficient to create such beauty as confronted me. I could see the profound tenderness and caring in the hands of the Maker. The hands of the Maker.
Wow.
It was as if I could feel the heart from which this beauty emerged, as if the impetus for this creation were a love which had been unbearable to contain, and therefore had to be manifested physically. As if the world were not a separate object, but the embodiment of a love so profound it absolutely required form. As if the love and form were not distinct from each other, but different faces of the same divine presence.
Well, what do you make of that?
Beautiful. It's beautiful. And yeah, I did sort of have a memory back to that point where I was just weeping, and we've spoken before in this show, and the thoughts that are going through my mind constantly, just how everything is connected, and it's just the thought of the Creator. They had this feeling that was so profound they had to create it and give it image and give it body.
Whoa, like a mother giving birth to you. I don't think thank you for reading this. I don't think I'm there yet. I might get there, that nature and the creative powers of nature. I believe this. Maybe I'll start feeling it. The creative powers of nature are awesome, beautiful, brilliant, and awesome.
Agreed.
And I guess if we really feel this, I imagine we think and act differently. I think that's what she's saying also.
Why do you think we think and act differently?
I wish I could think of an example. I mean, I have a friend who's an awesome helper of mine. Helps me write books, helps me find lost objects, interpret my dreams. Awesome. But I am not yet able, I can know she's awesome, but feeling it is not so easy. With many people, I think it's somewhat defensive. I don't want to lose myself discovering how awesome you are. Now that I'm learning to be in my body, maybe I can be awed by you particularly, but many yous, and not be afraid to feel your awesome beauty. Woof. Homework. Homework.
Healthy homework.
Yes.
Or be healthy doing that as well. That's profound. Definitely profound. Where was I? Divine presence. Now I felt I had to change my meditative practice so that after stillness I focused upon the heart. No action taken, no word spoken, no writing initiated, no healing attempted before my heart was open.
Wow! I read this like over 20 years ago and loved it and presented it.
You got a line. You got a line here marking it.
Yes, but to really get these things, you might help me before I die of these strokes. I used to have a default closed heart for good reason, and not know it even. And now I'm beginning to consciously open it, like hugging my oak tree. But it goes between default close, and I think I have to consciously open it and hopefully be enough in touch with my body and me not to be lost by my awe of other people. But I cannot do this yet.
So you have this sort of understanding and maybe connection with your awe of other people's beauty, but you also have this defense.
Yes.
That protects you from the amazing awe that you feel.
Yes.
That's like,
even in me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, understood. Yeah.
This makes me cry. It's very sad.
I think that's actually smart.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I think to have that, it's showing that yourself is taking care of yourself. You know?
Yes, I think, however, that if I can, it would be so much more healing to be able to be myself and to really feel you are awesome. Not just to say the words. Woo. And sometimes it's easier in silence. Maybe often it's easier in silence.
I think that's an awesome homework assignment. But I would also just ask you to take the note that even though there is something inside of you that is blocking you from that, I think that's a sign of yourself taking care of yourself. And,
yes.
And going past this boundary
yes.
is a great thing, but I'd say do it safely, do it carefully, and non-judgmentally.
I wish the Israelis and the Palestinians would be able to see beyond their murderous activities, killing. It's not easy. Our buddy Jeshua said, love your enemies. Love your, like Martin Luther King, Mahatma Gandhi, love your enemies. And see how amazing they are. The Jews, after over 1,000 years, 2,000, come back to Israel and make it a beautiful country. The Palestinians are still hoping to do that too. Get their land back. They're both beautiful dreams. They're colliding. Just like the people in Ireland that were fighting, or South Africa, my Lord, the whites against the blacks. So maybe they can see beyond the murder. Rwanda did this with reconciliation. They were killing each other, big time. Serbs and the Croats. The indigenous people in the United States and the United States government. Maybe you might tell us how we can do that. Can we get beyond the almost unfathomable pain, howling, to also, not running away from the pain, appreciate how wonderful the Israelis and the Palestinians truly are.
I saw some people in Harvard Square today holding up the Israeli flag, and there was a woman arguing with them, and they were having an argument there. Said, I'll call the police if you keep on doing this and that.
Who's calling the police, the woman or the Israeli flag?
The woman with the Israeli flag.
Oh, she's going to call the police.
Yeah, apparently. I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, it seems like, I feel like, as far as what I know about history, you know, we've come to the point where we can stop being obsessed with war, and, you know, it's just evolving a little bit from that animal inside us, which says, I must kill because I am right, you know, I must kill because they are wrong, you know, and finding another way to communicate, finding another way.
Yeah, there's groups of Trumpers and anti-Trumpers who get together and talk and see how awesome each side is. Doesn't solve things immediately, but it's a step. Instead of blaming, to understand. You still have 6.5 minutes if you're game.
Okay. Where are we here? You want me to keep on going with this, or do you want to continue in the same?
I am happy to have you read and tell me what it means.
We're in the middle of a paragraph here. No action taken, no words spoken, no writing initiated, no healing attempted before the heart was open, nothing that did not come out of love, not an instant to be lived without attending to the heart.
Wow! Shame I read this. I presented it.
When? Where?
At it was called Interface. At a singles night. I told the story. I was very moved by it. I did not do it. This is about 25 years ago, the turn of the century. So it's good to hear it again. She doesn't want us to do anything. At least that's her, or, you know, we make these vows and moments of, I want to have an open heart before I'm teaching my writing classes, or writing this, or meditating. I still have great challenge to remember this. If I remember and put my hand on my heart, that helps. I should probably, as my dream interpreter told me, tape one hand over my heart and the other hand over my mouth. It should be my morning ritual. Which I could do. Well, feels good.
That's good. Excellent. In the end of the paragraph, nothing without the heart and nothing that did not serve the heart.
Gee.
I was thinking about that, taking a nap today. You know, I was just thinking about, I was lying down, I was trying to get comfortable, and I would get really nice and comfortable, and all of a sudden I'd feel a little pain in my heart. I feel a little just, I don't want to move right now, but if I didn't listen to my heart, then my heart would be excluded from the gloriousness of the nap.
Yep.
So I had to move. but my heart felt grateful to me for doing that.
Oh my! Yeah. You moved in what way?
I just sort of moved, I gave it a little space to breathe and beat.
I feel okay.
Yeah, yeah. And my heart, after that, I felt gratitude coming to me from my heart.
Oh my!
Yeah.
I'd like to try that. Gratitude coming to me from my heart.
And just listening to it and noticing what it might feel like, and just trying to be healthy with it and connected to it, appreciate it as it appreciates you, and that's your heart. It's one of the most important parts of you.
Appreciate it as it appreciates me.
Yeah.
That would be wild. Palestinians and Israelis have to first be in touch with their heart before talking.
And aware of each other as equal human beings.
Yes. Which doesn't excuse any of the actions. There still could be murderous, not could be, there are murderous actions. But when we meet to talk about them now, step one is to come from the heart. We might then have to find somebody to scream out our rage and hurt and pain. Maybe not at one another. Maybe at one another. Take time.
Not violently.
Maybe we could both take time and scream in pain, anger, vulnerability, fear, before we start negotiating.
You can have just sort of a freestyle express your emotions pit.
Yes.
Where they all just scream at each other with no violence.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Well, we only have 2 minutes. Maybe we should let you sum it up if you would like.
Somewhat up.
What we've read so far, or your reaction to it?
Summarize that. Yeah, the world can be beautiful and the world can be very scary at the same, as well. But if we unify as human beings and don't fight each other, we can get through it, and keep it healthy and advance our technologies as well. That's just what I had to say about it.
Do we have a prayer to say goodbye? We have 28 seconds.
Okay. Because we're a little early.
Yeah.
May we all connect peacefully.
Wow.
You can try one if you got.
May we all connect peacefully. Love it.